Hey guys, Ashley Francis here with Blue Sage Counseling and Wellness with another edition of the Mindfulness Minute. So today I want to talk about the importance of mindset. This is something that comes up for me daily, if not most days out of the week. Um, it, what I mean by mindset is what do we focus on? Where are the direction of our thoughts and our feelings and our inner dialogue, and where are we headed? What is it that is necessary in order for us to stay on track and keep us moving towards our goals and actually achieving them? And I'll be honest, this is something that's new for me. As I've talked about in other videos, it's really easy to get on autopilot and just basically adopt the values and morals of other people and not even question them. And that's pretty much how we determine our lives. And I'm guilty of that. I'm for sure guilty of that. And when times of stress, I go right back to that default mode of what is it, of how I've been taught to think, feel, and act, and use that as a guiding compass because it's just easier. It's a lot easier to do that than to be challenged and to do the things that require us to get out of our comfort zone to level up. So it makes sense, but it also doesn't serve us. So I came to the conclusion recently that this is the way that mindset works. So in specifically within the context of growth, if you are a person that is motivated for growth and getting better and being happier and achieving more, then this is what applies. If it is not, it's not going to apply, and you might as well just stop listening now. But most people I've encountered, this is the case for them. So what I've noticed is that as I'm at a specific level, there are certain things that I must think and do and feel on an everyday basis in order to stay in alignment with the goals that I'm seeking to achieve. So I get very clear on what are those tasks that I need to do, and also what are ways to deal with the clutter and ways to deal with breakdown and problems and disconnection. So you got to get really clear on all of those things in order to be able to get through that specific level. And then you start to notice that as you practice it more, it starts to become easier. It becomes second nature. Some of that anxiety starts to go away, and you start to calm down. You start to level out. I guess that's a good way to say it. But then when we start to get comfortable, we know that that is not where growth happens any longer. So if we're not feeling some level of discomfort at some point, then growth is not happening. Just clear, plain, and simple. So that's usually a good sign that it's time to level up again. And that's where I'm at right now. I'm in the transition from one level to the next. And it's been very challenging emotionally, physically, spiritually. It is just really pushing me to my limits and testing me to all I've got. But it hit me. It dawned on me that because I'm in this level of transition from one level to the next, what that winds up looking like is a difference in the things that I was doing on this level. Are some of the things that some of the things I was doing on this level are going to translate to doing them on this level. They just may not look the same. So, for example, let's say that diet and exercise is something that's really important to me, and I started to notice that I wasn't keeping to my diet as much or wasn't exercising as much because I got inundated with all of the stress associated with going to this next level as it pertains to my business. So all of the anxiety, all of the fear, all of that negative stuff was starting to take up too much space in my mindset and my mental capacity. And therefore it pushed out all of, or not all of, but the eating and the exercise that are really important to me. It pushed it out. And that's how we lose sight of our goals. So I realized that in order to stay on track, in order to achieve these goals, I've got to figure out some sort of way to adjust my mindset to influence the way that I implement those tasks. So, in other words, what I started to do is, well, for one, I've got practice self-awareness to be able to recognize that I hate going to the gym. I hate it. So instead of trying to force myself to do something I hate, why don't I just go back to the drawing board and figure out a different way to do this? It's still a goal of mine. It still needs to get done, but it doesn't have to get done the way that it did when I was operating on this level. Now that I'm at this level, the way that I go about completing my tasks is going to be different. So what I've started to do is just bring some workout clothes with me to the office. And I'll do floor exercises right here in the office and go for a walk around the building. So that's a good example of how when we were operating on this level, we did it a certain way. But now that we've leveled up, the view from up here is now looking different. So it's really, really important to be able to, one, recognize when that's happening, and then two, be able to make the adjustments that are necessary to be able to keep you on track with those goals and keep ascending up the ladder. So I'm really curious to know what you guys have to say and what you think about leveling up in mindset. As this pertains to mindfulness, you have to be very present. You have to be very in tune with what your wants and needs are, as well as what your goals are. What are your specific tasks that you are working on? Mindfulness is not always simply about the airy fairy meditation, mindfulness, the guided imagery, the relaxation. All of those things are really, they're necessary, but mindfulness is not always about that. Sometimes it is really grueling, difficult work, and it takes digging down deep and being able to look at the things that you don't like about yourself, might even hate about yourself, and really sit with it. Sometimes mindfulness is a dirty, dirty game, and but it also has the best payoff from what I have found as well. So in this essence, it's getting very clear about what it is that you want and you need, and what it is that you're working on. What are your tasks? What are your actionable steps that you are working on every day to be able to achieve your goals? And then not only that, once you reach the next level, being able to look at those tasks and make revisions or removals of things that no longer serve you. And that in and of itself is really, really hard. But ever since I've had this realization, it's been much better. It's been infinitely better. I was experiencing burnout, and now I feel like I'm on the uptick. I still feel like I'm still coming out of it, but I'm definitely on the right track. So curious to hear what you guys have to say. Leave them in the comments, and let's keep the discussion going.